Hey everyone, Melissa back for another collaboration with a good friend of mine, Melanie Hill, who I met years ago on actually at the golf course when we had an event. And I've watched her journey as an entrepreneur, and I felt what better way than to bring her on live, as I've been doing, to introduce herself and her journey. But before we get started, I just want to let you all know the Scale Your Mind, Money, and Momentum workshop that I'll be doing tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening is still open for registrations, and I'll put the links below. So be sure that you get in there, because even if you can't make it live, you will get the replay and some other opportunities with that as well. So again, I'm super excited to have my guest here, Melanie, and I will let you do an introduction and talk about that guy behind you.
Okay. I mean, he's always around. Melissa, thank you, number one, for having me. I am so honored that you asked me to come in and speak with you today. My name is Melanie Hill. I am a top status level leader with the beauty business Unique. Maybe you know me, maybe you've seen me doing makeup on Facebook and things like that. This is my husband, Wayne, and he has been involved in my business since before I even joined. I mean, he's the one who kind of said, yeah, go for it. I mean, how much do you normally spend on makeup? Go ahead. That was back in 2015. So really, the business is not just mine, it's ours.
Yes. And Wayne, what was it that you said before we came live?
Behind every successful woman, there's a man behind her going, what just happened?
I love it. I love it. And I think
let me say this. Ladies, you can run your business alone. It's much easier to have support, but you can do it alone. And guys, if you're not there to help, you're missing out.
Yeah.
And it goes vice versa. Men can run their own business, but it's much easier with support.
Right.
Yes. Well said, Wayne. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know the value of the support that I receive from my husband and my coaches and my friends and my family, because, they all look at you like, what are you thinking? Who do you think you are? We get this imposter syndrome, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. And then the first obstacle shows up and we're like throwing in the towel. But it takes those relationships with others to say, no, don't do that. Let's move forward. And that's a lot of the mindset work that we have to really focus on. Money gets in the way too, because we think there's always lack of it. But when we let that go and start moving forward into realizing, hey, I love what I'm doing, and I get up every day not seeing it as a job. It is fun. It's a disservice if I'm not showing up for that person who's waiting for me to say yes. So let me ask you some questions then, Melanie. What was the most challenging part of your journey? Like, what really did you find to be most challenging?
Honestly, thinking about that question, would have to be the mindset thing. That really was the most challenging thing for me, because when I started in 2015, and I feel like anyone who starts a company or starts a business in network marketing, you don't start thinking that it's all up here. You're like, okay, regardless of the product you're selling, you think there's skill behind it. Like, I need to at least know what I'm doing. I need to know what I'm doing about makeup. If I can only do this business if I know how to do makeup well. When honestly, skill is about 10% of what I do. 90% of what I do is mindset, and being sure that I have my mind in check at any given time. Because as you know, as a business owner as well, things come up, things happen. You may wake up in the morning and have one negative comment or a negative message, and it sets the tone for your whole day.
Yeah.
So it took me a good 2 years into my business before I realized I really do need to spend time on personal development every single day. 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, whatever works in your schedule. Be sure that you are filling your mind with positivity. And not even just to get through that day, but to be sure you've got a stockpile up here of positivity ready to kind of step in as a shield on a day you wake up when maybe you aren't motivated, or you do have maybe a situation come up within your team or within your client base or your network where you need to have your mind in check before you step into that conversation or just tackle whatever the situation might be. So the biggest challenge for me in my journey would be realizing I needed to get my mind right. I used to be one of the most negative people on someone's Facebook feed.
Yeah, that's not
I
gonna
really
work.
would. Like I would be the first person to go complain about something. It didn't hit me that somebody might see that and it might set their day off wrong because they saw my negativity. So once I started feeding my brain and feeding my heart with good things every day, taking the time and really being intentional with being sure that my mind was right.
Yes, that's it.
Everything just started shifting, everything started shifting and things start coming to you. Good things start coming to you. So, I love that we're talking about mindset because I think a lot of people don't realize that is such a big part of what we do.
Exactly. And I think, you touched on a lot of good things. The professional development daily, it's your own practice, setting those intentions with the clarity, knowing that you're building a library, a resource. I always talk about our mind's like a Google Drive. If you're going to start saying negative things, it's going to search for more negative things. But if I look for the positive, I'm going to find the positive. I just shared yesterday, I had someone reply to one of my emails that I was annoying. It's like, you're annoying. And so I did a whole video over in my group, The Drive Inside, because I switched it and said, oh my gosh, he's reading my stuff. He's seeing what I'm putting out there. If he took time to reply and not just unsubscribe and move on, that's power. And it's about that shifting the mindset. And I was like you, Melanie, I had the most negative attitude growing up and, into, early years, just because that was how I was programmed. And then when I started feeling, like you said, with that professional development, being around other people that lift my energy and my vibe, it was a game changer, totally game changer. So how many people do you have on your team right now? You said that you started in 2015.
I started in 2015.
Okay.
With just me, myself, and I, and a $99 investment.
And your vulnerability to go online with the no makeup on and do the thing. Whether it's in your car
even back then, there was no Facebook Live. She had to record a video.
It was recorded.
And then post it.
Right. Yeah. That was a little bit less, nerve-wracking.
Buffer what she does today.
But we have 2,500 mascara mamas. That's the name of my team. And they're from all over the globe. So, doesn't matter where you live, where you're at, your demographic, your age, your race, your religious background. That's what I love so much about network marketing. All of those things don't determine how successful you'll be in this business. It's just up to you. So there's 2,500 of us, and it still blows my mind that nervous me in 2015, who was working a full-time corporate America job, decided to do this. And I had like $120 in my checking account
or less.
And that was really kind of like a red flag because we were both working full-time, and it's like, that should never be somebody's reason to not start a business, because you look at your checking account, you're like, oh my gosh, I only have this much until my next pay period. Because I turned around and made back my investment in the first 2 days. And I wasn't really even trying. I wasn't even really doing anything. So everybody has that fear that's blocking them. And again, that's part of that mindset, that it's the limiting beliefs that I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So neither had I. And I feel like I'm proof that you can come from the smallest town in the world, Hamersville, and you can reach the top of your company. It is so possible.
It's so amazing too. I mean, I think that what you said, the lack of money didn't stop you, because there was something that shifted in you, that desire, the support of Wayne to say, yes, go all in. And I think the two of those, oftentimes it gets the mind out of the way, right? The heart steps in. And so many people function from that brain. There's not enough money. There's not enough time. I don't know what I'm doing. But there's this heart space that I got cold chills just saying that. It's like we get that chill, and then our gut sinks, says yes. The butterflies show up, and you just took the inspired action. You said yes. And then moving forward, you were able to get others to say yes. So how does that look from an entrepreneurial, here you are, you did your thing, you got your investment back in a couple of days, but now you're going to find people to help grow your business. by helping them start a business. So how does that look? What was some of the challenges there, or obstacles that you noticed?
I feel like in the beginning, the obstacle was knowing what to say to people, because I really didn't know the business myself yet. So I'm like, how can I talk to somebody about what I do when I'm also just learning? And I feel like that's a challenge for a lot of women or men who have just started a business that's a team building business model. And a lot of that's on social media now. So that's a challenge for a lot of people. And I think get out of your own head about it, because one of the best things you can offer somebody is learning with them. So when I first joined and I didn't really know how to talk to somebody, I just said, hey, let's do this together. Let's figure it out together. Let's do what we can. And back then, there wasn't the training we have now. Our corporate staff has onboarding systems in place now that we didn't have in 2015. I feel like I'm one of the pioneers that helped get that going because of the research I did. So it's like we got to blaze the trail for people who joined now and they have all this training at their fingertips. They know what to do right off the bat where I didn't. They know how to start a conversation with someone where I didn't in 2015. So a lot of my sponsoring and recruiting now into my business happens organically because people have, like you said, you've watched my journey. People watch my journey and, they've seen the joy in my life and they see what the business has brought to my family. And, we don't live outside of our means. And we're smart with our money, but I feel like people still can see what it's done for us. And even just paying an electric bill every month, or, moms who don't get time to themselves, paying for a mani and pedi once a month. Those are just things that, it brings me joy to see my team being able to cover those expenses, even if that's all they want out of it. So, bringing people on and getting to see those little wins is one of the best things about what I get to do.
Because we've been there.
We've been there.
Yes.
Right. We've had those little wins and we know how sometimes those little wins feel like the biggest wins because, it had been a really long time since I allowed myself to do something for me. And finding this, it just happened when it needed to happen in my life. It really did. So knowing what's happened between 2015 and 2021, there's been so many big wins, and so many small wins, and all of them mean so much to me.
Yes, I love that. And we always talk, the overnight success took 6 years in the making, right? That's what people tend to forget.
And I say it all the time. This does not happen in one day.
Right.
You have to plant the seeds and you have to water it. It's not overnight.
Right.
It's that consistency, the persistency that you stay engaged in it. You don't let things tear you down with any, you're able, like you said, that professional development helps you pivot on situations. Well, what can I do differently? What can I do better? What didn't work there? I want to bring up a good point that you had mentioned that your company now offers all the training, the onboarding, and many are doing that now. But here's what I find. A lot of us are all about, I'm going to download the free PDF. I'm going to get into that free challenge. I'm going to show up over here. And what do? We don't even set our butt in the chair to take time to do any of it. So what do you find with your team and getting them? What is your secret sauce that gets them to show up and do the work?
For my new girls, I work really closely with them. So I have training chats, and I call them the class of January 2021 or whatever month we're in. And I start a chat with just the women who join and start their business that month. And I work really closely with them and I give them their first 2 weeks of like overwhelming information, but I don't make it overwhelming. Okay. So if they were doing it on their own, they would be like, what is all this? It's all coming at me. And then once they get to a certain point, we'll start talking about things like attending the bi-weekly Zoom meeting. I have a Zoom meeting with my team every other Thursday night. And it's time together, especially in 2020, that really got us all through because we're such a group we're a sisterhood and we do a lot of things in person, a lot of things together. Not that it's required, but we want it. We want to spend time together. So the Zoom calls are really important to us. It keeps us connected. It keeps that culture and community within our team. But another thing is, we talk about events, we talk about trainings that aren't even part of Unique. You have like Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing by the Warries. They put that on every year. Ray Higdon does a lot of coaching trainings that you can invest in and you can attend either virtually or in person. And then our company convention. So we really drive the importance of attending events and training. Even if it's outside of the Unique world, just any kind of training in network marketing is going to be so beneficial to your business, especially when you're just starting out, because there's so much information and it can come from, it doesn't have to come from Unique. There's so many ways to run a social media business. In the network marketing space. And I tell a lot of my people, find a mentor in Unique and also outside of Unique. So somebody like Ray Higdon or Eric Worre or Mel Robbins, any of those, top network marketing gurus that really can not personally coach you, but you can follow them, maybe get into their groups, things like that. Just driving home that point, like you've got to have somebody who can mentor you, maybe one-on-one within Unique, and then also outside of our company, because there's just so much to be learned.
Absolutely. And of course, that's what my business is, right? Business coaching. Everybody needs a business and life coach. Everyone should have one. We've had them all our lives through teachers and parents and grandparents and, all of that. And that's where oftentimes we don't recognize that we can also be inundated with all the other stuff. But I like how you kind of say zero in on that one, find the unique mentor and then find the other person that's going to be your mentor or your motivator. And that's where the momentum starts picking up, because if we're not fueling ourselves with that kind of information, we want to go to the old programming of start talking about, well, they didn't make it and I'm not good enough, not smart enough, not tall enough, not thin enough, like all of those things go up. And I think that's the secret sauce, is you're driving them in that conversation. Cassie posted that the training chats are amazing. So, to have your team on here watching this, giving shout outs, I mean, that says a lot to what you're doing. And even though you probably feel like it's ease and flow in some ways, you really do have to go down and find that. So what happens those mornings when you wake up and you're like, I don't even want to do this. I just want to go back to bed, or I want to watch Netflix, or Wayne and I just want to go away for a month or two. What do you do?
I mean, we've all seen the saying, you're not always going to be motivated, but it's about discipline. It's not about motivation, because there are days when you wake up where, I don't feel like doing a Facebook Live. Maybe I'm just not feeling the greatest, or maybe I had a bad day, yesterday or last night, or maybe me and Wayne got into it or whatever. It's easy to carry that kind of stuff with you into the next day and lose your motivation. But it's like, it's like losing weight. Well, it's not going to happen if I wake up and I'm not disciplined about my meal planning. If it's easier to just run to McDonald's or run to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, because I don't have the motivation. But if you have the discipline to still get up and do things, showing up in your business every single day, there's no difference there. So, I see a lot of women or men who will join a business like this or start a business like this. And because they're not at the top of the company by the end of year one, they're like, well, this company is terrible. I need to go to the next company, or I need to try it over here, or I need to go over here, and I'm going to take a bunch of people with me, and it's like, it's not the company. You could go here, 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 and here, but if you're not disciplined to show up in your business every single day in some capacity, you're going to have the same outcome.
It's the same as a brick and mortar business. If you don't pay your dues, when you start, you're at the bottom. You have to claw your way to the top.
You have to put in the work. You have to be disciplined enough to put in the work every day. And, for me, that doesn't look like sitting at my desk for 8 hours a day. I'm free from that.
16 hours.
I'm free from that. I don't sit at my desk for 16 hours. I have built the freedom, and that is what means so much to me, is because I have been disciplined. I have the freedom to only work an hour a day.
Yes.
Once I do my live and things like that, I'll spend an hour on following up with customers, mentoring and coaching new presenters within my company, checking in with my leaders, making sure if there's anything they need from me to help them with their own legs in their business. But I have built up that freedom, and that the freedom of time. To me, that's more important than the money.
Yes.
Just having the time to truly be my own boss and to do what I want when I want. I don't have to ask for sick days. I don't have to ask for vacation time anymore. And I never imagined that that's where I would be at 42 years old. Never dreamed it.
Oh,
Because I've always worked in corporate America. I've always had a boss. I've always had somebody else to report to and ask for time with my family. And I got to fire my boss, because of this business. I loved him. I had really great coworkers and a really great company I worked for, but it just feels so good to say I got to fire my boss.
Yes, I love that. I've never
and walk away from that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the main thing you pointed out was the discipline of it. And, oftentimes we can think that we are working hard because I sat at my desk. So if I sat here for 8 hours, then I worked hard. And then looking at you, as we already said, it was 6 years in the making for the success that you are now. People want where you are now without doing all the work. I invested in coaches thinking they had the magic wand that they were going to tap me on the head and I was going to have overnight success, because if I'm giving them money, it should come back to me tenfold. Again, there's that mindset of, is that true for me? Do I really expect that? Is that something that is tangible? Will it work? And the discipline piece is the key part, but it can be with ease and flow, because enough discipline in your business has now given you that freedom, that time freedom to work 1 or 2 hours or take a couple of days off. You're not losing the momentum. You're actually just refueling your own system. So that you can keep showing up. Someone else commented about how much Wayne and yourself you pour into your team. You can't do that 24/7, right?
I love my team. I love my team
so
amazing. Much. They're my family and they have my heart. I love them.
Yeah. So one of the things I always talk about is how things are awkward before they're elegant. Think of a little kid trying to walk, how awkward that is. And Abraham Hicks talks about, you don't look at them and go, get up, you little dummy. We encourage them, we inspire them. We see the awkwardness, we see, but we celebrate them when 2 or 3 steps come out. And that's where, being an entrepreneur, growing a team, living your best life, living it by design is really aligning with that. And it could be magic. It just could be energetic. It's those things that I believe that individuals don't realize how much control they have over that when it starts in their head. There's where we start first. The money will follow. That's just another piece of energy. We don't make money. We go get our money, right? The government makes the money. That's what Grant Cardone says. And those motivational speakers that give us that shot in the arm, that good dose of like, yes, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, is often how I find myself and clients, and I'm sure yourself, to get back on the higher vibration, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that frequency is so important to understand. Yeah. And if anybody's on here watching and they're like, what are they talking about? Go and watch The Secret on Netflix.
Yes. Because that's where my journey started.
Yeah, exactly. That will explain it to you. Manifesting your future, speaking it out, and like manifesting money. If you're money driven, manifesting that freedom of time, like I talked about, manifesting, that your team is going to grow and grow and grow. And you know what? It's so real. It's so real, because I have to tell you this, Melissa, I had a fear of my team getting bigger. I had such a fear of it, and I didn't even realize it. And I was holding my team back because I was holding on to the fear of not knowing everyone on my team. That's really hard for me, because the kind of person I am, like Wayne is the same way. We're so personable, and we're huggers, and we have to have relationship with people. So I had a really hard time when my team got to about 500 people. It was hard for me that I didn't know everyone personally on my team. And I was holding my team back from going farther. I feel honestly, because I was holding on to this fear of, well, it's hard for me because I can't personally be the one to help everyone, or I can't personally be the one to answer their questions or even know everyone's name. I mean, once your team gets so big,
Yeah.
I can scroll through my team, my back office on my website, and I'm like, I need to reach out to this person because I've never seen their name before. And it's, now I'm spinning it that way where I get to start a new relationship. Where before I was like, I'm scared of not knowing everyone. I'm scared of not personally having a relationship, which we know that'll never get to happen. There's always going to be a leader that maybe you don't know so well. And it was really letting go of that fear and being okay with my team getting bigger. The floodgates just opened and we were popping leaders left and right. My team hit the top of the company in 4.5 years because we finally let that go, and everything just kind of shifted. So
I hear what you're saying. That's the glass ceiling, right? We all hit a glass ceiling and how to bust out of that. And you said that you recognized that you weren't going to know everyone. You changed it to be enthusiastic about meeting new people because that's in your nature. But what was the point of, was it just that you flipped that script and said that and you busted through the glass ceiling, or did you have to journal, meditate, pray?
I really kind of, I had to take some time with my mentors in the business, and I had to say, this is what I'm dealing with. What do I do to get past this? And it was really in conversation with them and their guidance, like, look, and these are women who have 30,000 women on their team, plus, and it's just not possible to know everyone on your team. What you can do is focus on the ones you do know, your leadership, letting your leaders lean into their role as a leader wherever they fall in your organization, and trusting that the guidance you've given them is trickling down to their team. So, it's not that I'm not a controlling person. I just had this fear of looking like a lazy leader. Like I wasn't there for everyone on my team. And it's unrealistic, truly, when your team gets to a certain point, it's unrealistic to believe you're going to have a personal first name kind of relationship with everybody who joins the business. But I know that I have leaders between me and them who are giving them the love that I've given them. It's all trickling down. So truly working with, my own mentors in Unique helped me get past that.
Yes, I love that. And that you were vulnerable enough to tell them, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm saying.
Right.
And so many people, you don't get that opportunity because you're fearful of what someone's going to say back, or how are they going to treat you after they know that. And that's with my one-on-one coaching. When people can get really vulnerable, they always talk about, oh my gosh, I just showed up and throwed up, and it's like, that's okay, because if you're not going to tell anyone else, that's why I'm here, for you to tell me. And I'm sure you have that with your team members too, that now you've been through enough experiences, which I have with my own business as well. It's when you have those experiences, that's when we can quickly help navigate them through the waters, through the terrain, so that they don't upper limit, so that they can keep the money flowing in, so they keep the momentum. And it just all comes in without expectation anymore. It just happens. It just is. But it really is a beautiful journey that you have been on. I'm just curious, is there something that you know now that you wished you'd have known then that could have took that overnight 6-year success quicker? Was there anything that might have made it go any faster, or was it all in divine timing?
I truly believe it was in divine timing, but there are definitely things that I know now that I wish somebody had told me then, that it's not a race. You're literally not in competition with anyone, even in another business. There's room for everybody in network marketing to hit the top of the company. It's unlimited potential, unlimited income. It's available for everybody if you're willing to put in the work. So if I had just known that it's not a race, Melanie, slow down. People will pass you up. People who joined after you might hit a status before you hit it. And that comes back to being in divine time. I fully believe that God had a reason that it took Melanie Hill 4.5 years to hit Black status and at the top of the company. I believe that it was, people needed to see that it doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen in your first year. It may not happen in your second year. That second and third year, I had so much growth personally and as a leader Because that's when I started the mindset shifting and the personal development. So if I had in the beginning started off my journey filling my brain every day with some kind of personal development and having my mindset right from the beginning, my journey might look different. But I'm so grateful for my journey because it's taught me a lot. And now I know how to help others, not even in my line of business, but I know how to help others kind of navigate those rocky waters that they go through in their business.
Yes. Yeah. So absolutely. I think that you hit it right there. This has been so much fun. The conversation that we had, what you've shared, your team being inspired by you being here, giving the shout outs. And I know the work that I'm doing right now is exactly what you said. Get the coach that's going to help you with the mindset, get over those fears of the money, the success, the glass ceilings, the momentum. And that's what this workshop I'm doing on Thursdays all about, is just to pierce that veil so that you can start collectively thinking about how your thoughts are running the show, how you're letting it, when the motivation goes down, you just stop. Like, it's just giving people an opportunity, a glimpse into that. And that's why I wanted to do these collaboration interviews, because I know you and the others have been in that same struggle, that same divine timing, that impatientness, the waiting. But if anyone's interested in being a part of that, I definitely want them to connect and be a part of it. Melanie, where can we find you? We'll drop it in the comments, but where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, just Melanie Hill. Feel free to friend me, follow me, whatever. I also have a business page, Melanie Hill Beauty. On Pinterest, I'm at Mascara Mimi. And I'm loving Pinterest for my business. If you are an entrepreneur and you're not utilizing Pinterest, there's so much room for growth on Pinterest. So get over there, follow me, I'll follow you back. And then on Instagram, Melanie_G_Hill. On Instagram.
I've heard a lot of things about Pinterest, so I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it's finding that one platform that you're really good at and really getting to know it, and then finding how you can duplicate it on other platforms. I know a lot of my clients, they think they have to be everywhere, and that comes with time too. You didn't, you started with your recorded videos, you put them up on Facebook, that kind of thing. So again, it's all in just being able to have someone support you, have someone to celebrate you and help you see beyond those blinders so that you can get the peripheral vision that no matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what stories you tell, success is in every one of us. We just have to be open to let it out.
I love that.
Well, Melanie and Wayne, I thank you so much for your time today. I've enjoyed meeting you both. I look forward to following you and supporting you in any way that may look. And again, if anyone's interested in learning more about me, you can find me at Melissa Kirkpatrick Business Coach. And I am super excited that we've had this opportunity. And I wish you all the best, continued success. And that's all for now.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Melissa, so much.
You're welcome. Okay, I think that stopped it. Awesome. Yes. Oh my gosh, so good.
Hey,
so
send me the link to your workshop.